So today we're going to be setting up OpenClaw on a Hetzner VPS. This can be done anywhere. You can set it up on DigitalOcean. For the sake of simplicity, we're just going to go through Hetzner. And if you go on another platform, just know that basically the same thing applies. So let's go ahead and go to hetzner.com, go to the cloud, and we want to choose just a simple VPS to get started. The main thing you're looking for is that you want at least 4 gigabytes of RAM. The more, the better, but 4 is the absolute minimum I would recommend in order to keep your bot running at a normal speed. Storage isn't so much of a factor since all of the markdown files and everything it creates are going to be small. And you can have, through connections, your OpenClaw bot save things and create files on other platforms. So you can have it create things on Google Drive or in Obsidian or other places. So storage isn't so much of a factor. For the purpose of this video, we're just going to pick the cheapest option. Now, depending on the location of the server, they do or don't have specific options available. So let's go ahead and walk through this process and see what we can get. So the first thing you need to do is create an account. Once you have an account on Hetzner, you're going to set up a project. You can just call it OpenClaw or whatever you want. And then you go through the process of setting up a server. So the reason you put this in a project is because as it grows, you may want to add specific firewall options, new storage volumes to get more storage, additional IPs, etc. So this is very scalable, which is why I really like this setup. But for the sake of this video, we're just going to set up a new server. So I'm going to choose cost optimized and see what is available. Here we have 4 gigabytes of RAM. That's what we need. Now you scroll down and you see the options. So for the cost optimized 4 gigabytes, we can't build it in the US. So we have the Netherlands and we have Helsinki, but that's about it. Depending on your use case, you may need it to be in the US. I will say this. The closer the server is to you physically, the faster it's going to be able to respond. So keep that in mind as well. If you go over here to regular performance, you can see that now we have some US options available. $6.99 a month. Here we have $3.49 a month. For the sake of this video, we're just going with the cheapest option. We're not worried too much about the speed. After this point, I just want to walk you through this setup so that way you can make this decision on your own. Scrolling down, you get to choose your image. I just go with Ubuntu 24. Either one, it doesn't matter. It's whatever your preference is. Keep all of this the default. We're not going to set up keys in this video, but you can. Everything looks good as far as defaults go. So we're going to go ahead and set up the server. Now, if you don't already have a payment option set up in your account, make sure you do that. But look how fast this was. We set up a VPS, which will run our OpenClaw for $4 in just a matter of minutes. If you're wanting to get started and you're wanting to choose a platform that you can scale on and you don't want to go spend $1,000 for a mini PC or a Mac mini, this is by far the best way to get started. So now we're going to click into our new server and we're going to get connected to it over SSH. They do have this backup option here, which if you do get into production and you decide you want to continue with this, I do recommend the backup option. There are alternative ways to back up, such as putting your memory to your OpenClaw bot over to a private Git repo. So like anything, you have a ton of options, but I do want you to know that this is here and it's really easy to restore if something were to break. So now what we need to do is connect to the server so that way we can install OpenClaw. Now there's 2 ways to do this. Number one, the normal way is to open up your command line. It forces you to change the password on first login. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so new password set. We are ready to go. The other way you can get connected to your server is by using the browser-based console right here. So you can just simply click console. It's going to open up a new window and it's going to automatically connect you. This is good for quick connection. If you don't want to go through the process of getting the root password, changing it, or what I would recommend, setting up an SSH key. However, it does run a little slower, at least the delay back and forth. So I don't prefer it. But if you're just trying to move quick, it's perfectly fine. I'm going to go ahead and close this window, go back to the good old command line. All right, so from here, you can go ahead and actually install OpenClaw. But what I like to do is set up a user so we're not running it as root. It's just a small little security practice that I highly recommend just to help initially secure this installation a lot easier. So setting up a new user is not hard. We're just going to type in add user and then whatever name you want. It's going to ask for a password. Go ahead and put that in. You can leave all of these details blank. All right, so now we have a new user. Now, the next thing we want to do is add them to what's called a pseudo group, because this is going to allow it to have special privileges, which we may need when installing OpenClaw, but also when installing NPM packages or whatever in the future. So we'll type in user mod, the A and the G argument, pseudo, and then the name that you just created. And now we just want to verify that that worked. So we want to look at the groups that Wes is in. Now let's go ahead and switch to this new user. All right, so now we're logged in as Wes or as the user you created. And now we're going to move forward with installing OpenClaw. So let's switch to the browser and we're going to go to openclaw.ai. Come down here, on Windows, we're going to choose Linux, copy this command. Even though you can save this command, or I could put it in the description, I recommend you going to OpenClaw's website and getting this command just in case it changes in the future. Let's go back to our command line. We're going to paste in that command.
And now we just let her rip.
Now what this line of code that you just put in does, it is basically going to pull the installation script from OpenClaw
And run it.
So their installation script runs you through checking which dependencies are available. And if they're not, they install them. As you can see, it's done here. It's going to then install OpenClaw and then run its onboarding process. So it's everything that you would need to do typically one command at a time. It's going to do it all at once to make it as easy as possible. And while this is installing, I will say that this process is as of today when this video is published. It may change in the future depending on when you watch this. I've included an SOP which stays up to date, as well as probably new videos as time goes on in the description below. So if you go there, you check the resources, you'll be able to always have the most up-to-date information on installing OpenClaw as well as the other videos I put out. All right, so we have OpenClaw installed. So now it's just going to run us through its onboarding process, which is pretty straightforward. But I'm going to run through that and show you some of my recommendations with the onboarding process to keep it both secure and also very quick to set up. Go ahead and choose yes for the first option. You can choose quick start. I've never done quick start. I just choose manually. So let's go ahead and go through that. We want to use a local gateway. Now the difference is you can set up different nodes. So basically you can set up OpenClaw on your personal computer and have it connect to the remote gateway. But for the purpose of this, we're setting up the first gateway. Keep the default workspace directory. So here's where you set up the model that you're going to use behind the scenes. You can set up multiple. One will be the default, obviously. We're going to go ahead and just set up one real fast. So we're going to use Minimax. Now there's two things you need to know when setting up a model authentication process. There's typically two different ways. The API is where you log into your account, you create an API key, you copy it, you bring it here, and it does API model pricing. So the pricing for the API is typically different than what you would get with your subscription or your OAuth. So with Anthropic or Claude, for example, when OpenClaw first came out, you would just sign up with the OAuth method. And if you had a cheap Pro or Max subscription with Claude, you could just use that massive amount of usage on OpenClaw. Well, Claude turned around and said, hey, you can't do that. You have to use the API. So everyone switched to the API. And now, because it is more expensive, people are looking at other models as well. So Minimax is a very powerful and cost-efficient model for most everyday use. And since you can switch at any time to other models, starting out with something like this is typically recommended. So here you have to choose either the OAuth, which is the subscription type of authentication, or the API. Now, to get started with Minimax, there is another video for that. But basically at this point, you're just going to choose which method. I'm going to go ahead and choose OAuth since I already have an account there and it's pretty straightforward to do. Plus, when you're setting up a remote server like this, there may be a few extra steps you need to take in order to make the OAuth even work. So I'm going to walk through that process. The API key is easy. You basically just log into your account, go to your APIs, choose this option and paste it in, done. But for OAuth, a little more tricky. So let's go through that. Next, you'll choose whether you're going to do global, or if you're in China, you would choose China, but we're not in China, so global. And what's trying to do here is open a browser. If you were setting this up on a Mac Mini or a mini PC that you're accessing directly, it wouldn't be an issue. It would just open up the browser and you would continue from there. However, since this is a remote VPS, what it's trying to do is open a browser itself on its machine. But since it can't do that, we actually need to go and do it ourselves. So it provides this URL and we need to open it within our browser and they put in the code that it shows here. We're going to click authorize, successful, good to go. Let's go back. And you can see it worked just fine. So now it's asking which model do you want to use as the default. So we'll just keep Minimax Portal as the default, keep the gateway port as it is. The bind, we're going to choose loopback. Don't worry about anything else right now. We'll use token authentication. No tail scale. We can cover that in another video. Leave this blank to generate a token. Now it's going to move to the next step, which is configuring our chat channels. Telegram is the easiest one to set up. So we're going to say yes. We're going to set up Telegram. The instructions couldn't be any easier. So you're going to open up Telegram on your phone or on the desktop app. And you're going to look up this user right here, BotFather. And then once you open, you're going to send him this message. All right. So here you can see I have BotFather open and we're going to send him the message to create a new bot. So now we have to set up a name for the bot, and the name could be anything. So I'm just going to go ahead and name him Dr. Dre. So now we need to give it a handle, a Telegram handle basically, and it has to end with bot. So I'm just going to say Dr. Dre _ bot, and it'll check if it's available. It's already taken. Let's say Mr. Dre bot. Ultimately, doesn't matter. You just need something that's unique to this bot. So now it's going to give us a code. Let's copy this code and go back to our command line, paste it in. I accidentally copied what was in the terminal. So let me do this again. Right click to paste, push enter. We're gonna go down to finished. That's the only channel we're gonna set up. Now we want to pair that bot with this gateway. We'll just choose pairing. Next thing is it's asking to configure skills. We're gonna say no to this for now because we can do this later. We can also ask the bot to install skills or create skills itself. All right, so for hooks, we're gonna choose all of them. push enter. So you use spacebar to select those and enter to go. And it's setting up some system services, so we'll let that do its thing. Say yes for bash shell completion. Choosing yes or no doesn't really matter there. But if you work in the terminal a lot, it is helpful to have completion. All right, so we're good to go. So let's go ahead and make sure it works. I'm gonna say OpenClaw status. All right, so now it's complete. You can see that the dashboard is ready. All right, so I just ran OpenClaw status, and we can see that Telegram is connected as it should be. So now let's test it out. So I have Telegram open back up here, and we can see that our bot is created. So I'm gonna come over here, and we're gonna send it a message. All right, so once you send start to your bot, you should see something like this, basically saying that access is not configured. And that again is a security measure, so that way someone else can't just start messaging your bot. They have to be paired. So you go to your bot. So you click from BotFather, you click on your bot, it opens up here, you type in the command start, it returns with this, and it tells you exactly what to run here. So we have the pairing code. So we're gonna copy this, go over to our terminal, paste it in, and now we just wait for the pairing process to be completed. You can see that now Telegram is paired with this sender ID, which is my sender ID. So no one else can just start messaging this bot. The next thing you need to do is basically just start talking. Dr. Dre is starting to respond, and there you go. OpenClaw is fully set up, connected to Telegram, and ready to begin. All right, so I hope you found that helpful. You can see how quick and easy it is to get this actually set up and running. It's not a big deal. And just as quickly as I set it up, I can go into Hetzner and completely destroy that VPS, shut it down, turn it off, delete it completely, and start a brand new one. I can also start 1, 2, 3, 4 of them all at once. It doesn't really make a difference. That's the power of setting things up on a VPS, especially one that can scale as you grow. So check the description for the most up-to-date version of this process. I'll see you in the next one.